Welcome to my page. Today I want to speak about a subject that's very close to my heart, CV writing. Why? Because a lot of people treat CVs as an employment record, yet it is a marketing pitch. I mean, it's the one document that is going to tell us about you while you're not even in the room. And so why not just spend a lot of time just looking into what should be included in the CV? So I'm going to share towards the end of the video, I'm going to have tips for the young ones, the fresh graduates that don't have any experience. So please stay tuned until the very end of the video. One thing that you have to understand is that a lot of HR practitioners, officers, managers are under pressure. We're under pressure because we're being measured on how long it took to close that vacancy. We're also under pressure because of other competing demands. Maybe the line manager wants this person to come on board as soon as possible. So we really don't have much time to look into your CV. And please, just pay attention. We got around a minute to decide whether I should take a second look into the CV or not, or just skip and have a look at the other one. And remember that with each vacancy, we can receive 500 plus of CVs. So definitely, what is then going to make you stand out in a pile of 500? Let's start. So some of the mistakes that I've seen people making is that the bio information, they allocate a lot of space. So the formatting is wrong. And you're telling us about whether you're married or you're single and your home area. Please, we just want contact details. Even the event that you pass through this first stage, the screening stage, how are we going to get into contact with you? Contact details. The second mistake is that people treat their CV as an employment record, a list of different items tasks that you have done in the different roles. Really, you're shooting yourself in the foot with this one. What we want and what will stand out are results. Don't list tasks. Ask yourself, picture this HR practitioner behind, this recruitment system asking themselves, so what? I did 1, 2, 3, so what? How you should phrase what you did under each role is the result of that task. So I implemented the system. As a result, there was a reduction of 10% or increase in profitability of 20%. Results. I'm going to be sharing later on. Stay tuned. A template that I've developed that is going to give you exactly the examples of how you can frame the results, because you're not showing up on a job just there's no job that doesn't have results. Every job, how little or how junior that role is, it's there in the company for a reason, for results. And therefore, this process is going to help you to frame your results. Whether you're in a teaching profession, nursing, there are results in every role. And the third mistake that I've seen is people submitting CVs that are with spelling mistakes. I mean, really, when I see this one, I sit and I think, you know what, I really want to hire this person, but at that moment, you're putting doubts in my heart or in my mind to say this person clearly does not pay attention to detail. So am I going to bring on board? Sometimes, kind me, we're going to think, oh, okay, you know what, maybe they were in a rush. You know what, maybe they've been looking for a job for a long time. They're probably tired and then they just forgot this. But it is proven with time that if somebody cannot take the time to look into this document, it means that, unfortunately, they don't pay attention to detail. So please don't be that person. Make sure that your CV has got correct spelling and with no grammatical mistakes. The other mistake that I've seen, number 4, is you guys using a template that is not ATS optimized. ATS is applicant tracking system. Most companies are now using tracking systems, ATS systems for their recruitment. Few companies are still there where you're submitting your CV through an email, but most of the time you're going to be submitting your application through a system. That system, first of all, if your CV has columns, have got graphs, has got tables, and a photo, unfortunately, it then just jumbles up the information, or at times, because it's not able to pick up the right information because that system is there. So maybe the first thing to say, we are using that system. Why? Because it helps with the screening process. So, the other one is that, have you included all the key words that were in the job advert in your CV? which leads me to the fifth mistake, where you see people using a generic CV for every application. You cannot. I'm just going to mix these 2 points. You can't use a generic CV when you're applying for a role, because we want different competence for each role to be, for each person to be successful in that role. They should have a certain they should have certain competencies, and you find those spelled out in the job advert. Therefore, when you are crafting your CV, so make sure that it's ATS optimized. Make sure it's got no tables, no boxes, no graphs, no photo, but it still stands out, and then it has the keywords that were in the job advert. Somebody else may ask, like, should I just throw in? No, that's not you just throwing in the words. You're gonna carefully look, and I advise people to write their own CVs. I know that people like me could help you write your CV, but if you write it yourself, it helps, because that process also brings self-awareness. That process helps you to frame your results, your key skills, your competences, and you actually reflect on your past achievements, and you're able to articulate it into one document that will communicate value to the HR practitioner. So those keywords, it's not you just throwing keywords for the sake of throwing it's you carefully crafting those keywords into each role that you've done in the past, so that really that's going to make you then stand out on top of like that pile of 500 applicants. We are then going to pick up your CV, and that bot is also going to take your CV and take it to the next stage, really. And then the sixth mistake that I see people making is that, especially for the ones that have been hired for a long time, they just tend to tell us everything. Please don't be that person. The length of a CV should really not exceed 3 pages. And I know I've been a victim before, because you're just eager to tell those people that this is what I've also done this, I've also done this. So when I learned my mistakes, I corrected my mistakes. So your CV, make sure that it's not longer than 3 pages. What you want to do is to, talk about the results. Make sure that whatever information that you have with each role, it speaks to. It'll be nice if it's exceptional results, but it speaks to results that you've achieved. But also towards the end, where like your early year careers, the roles that you had in your early years of your career, what you want to do, summarize, have a subheading that just says various roles, and then just list them bullet points. When we were looking and recruiting for an executive, we are not interested in your admin role, really. It's part of your story. You're going to tell us about that story during the interview. That's okay. But I'm trying to make sure that you optimize your CV. I'm trying to make sure that within the first page, we have everything that we need that's going to make us stop as an HR practitioners to say, okay, let's pay attention to this one. This one we really need this one in our team. And then the last mistake which I see is like, and this one is for like young graduates. Usually they are confused, or they don't know what to include in their CVs because they don't yet have experience. There's actually a lot that you can tell us. When we're recruiting for a junior role, we are clear that you don't have the experience. What we're looking for is, who are you? Initiative. So did you lead anything? Did you initiate? So your high school days, your varsity days, do not be the one that's shying away from responsibility. Make sure that you take up responsibility so that you're able to articulate these things in your CV, even if it's voluntary, because volunteering is key. At your age, not many people can give you maybe a job because you don't have the experience. I usually see the comments like, okay, where are we supposed to buy this experience if no one is giving us a chance to have this experience? But we're going to be looking at, maybe high school days you initiated, or you're part of this debate association, economic, whatever volunteering, whatever activity. Just do not be that person that's sitting by the sidelines every day. Think about, I need to start building my career. That's why this page is about helping you to be proactive. don't leave everything to chance. Yes, today maybe you don't have any volunteering experience. Maybe at high school it's already too late. You didn't have any responsibilities. You didn't sign up for anything. But today, what are you doing? Is there anything, maybe church? Is there anything that you can do to show initiative and demonstrate your leadership capabilities? So for a CV, for a fresh graduate, we're looking at, initiative, leadership capability, the drive. Are you self-driven, or you are that person that we're going to give instruction and then simtfole solo emelapho, like we want driven people. You have to realize that businesses are in the business of making money. Even if it's an NGO, they have objectives. They want to achieve certain goals. And therefore, we want people that, if of course you're self-driven and you go above, you go the extra mile, you can demonstrate that. Yes, great, we love that. But of course, as HR practitioners, we're looking, is this the right person? Should we bring you on board? Because we know that we are going to teach you something. How is your learning? Are you the person that's teachable? So hence our questions, even during the interview, are going to be around, tell us about a time where you initiated something where you can demonstrate that you're a person that learns fast. Even if you don't know the information, you go and do the research and get the information. So basically, those are my 7 tips that I'm sharing with you. And I just want to say that I've been working on different CV templates. I've got templates for entry roles, mid-career, and executive roles that I'm going to be selling that you can use, and you can, at least they're word based, and you can change the colors. It's 3 templates. It's a bundle of 3 templates. And in the template, it's not just a standard template, but I explain what should be under each subheading, just to guide you and make sure that even if you will never have the opportunity of getting a career coach, you know what to include under each subheading. 2 of the templates, yes, different, but the one other template, you can put your photo. One thing that I didn't talk about is that, yes, in as much as most ATS system, they can reject pictures, but sometimes you are asked to submit your CV to an email address. So if you're applying to a role where they have an email address, that's when you can freely send the CV template with a photo, because then you know that it's just going to go through the email. Because I know that, like, for instance, I love, my CV with a picture, but also I know that in most other countries, like for instance, first world countries, pictures are not encouraged. Why? Because they can lead to bias. So, but I know that back home, pictures are still welcome. So thank you very much. Oh, I also talked about the fact that I have a free template. This template has got 120 matrix that you can look. It's different careers. I've just compiled different matrix that you can look and have an idea of, in your field, what do results look like. But also feel free to do your research. Maybe you'll look at the template and then maybe your career is not there just then. At least you have a guide. It's really, really a guide. Don't take those results and put them as they are in your CV. It's just helping you with the framing, because sometimes we even use words like I ensured. What were you doing when you were ensuring? So it's giving you the strong verbs. I developed, I led, I designed, so that's what you are going to have in that template. I'm going to leave instructions on my post above, but also on how to, leading you to the link where the template is. So please don't be discouraged. If you're that person, after this video, you know that you can see that I haven't done a lot of, results oriented. I haven't been results oriented the past year or 2. It's never too late. Just start today. Look at wherever you are, look at whatever role you are in, there are problems. Managers love problem solvers. There are problems, look at the problems that are there, and then carefully suggest ways to improve those problems. And just, they may love your idea, implement your idea, and next year you'll be able to say, I demonstrated initiative because I saw problem A, I did my research, and I proposed to my line manager, and then they then loved my idea and implemented my idea. So really, all is not lost. Thank you very much. Do give me more comments of what maybe if there's anything that I haven't covered, questions that you have about CVs, give me comments and then I can answer those. Otherwise, please always remember, it's your career, it's your choice. We are doing this right. This year, you are winning. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.